Good evening. This is Laredo Independent School District Board of Trustees special call meeting for Wednesday, the 17th. It is now 5:33. We're meeting at the Amber Yuri Boardroom, 1602 Houston Street. Roll call, please, Mr. Garza.
Yes, sir. Mr. Jesus Martinez.
Present.
Mr. Jose Valdez.
Present.
Mr. Ricardo Garza, present. Mr. Hector Noyola, absent. Dr. Cecilia May Moreno.
Present.
Mr. Hector Garcia.
Present.
Mr. Jose R. Perez, absent.
Absent.
Okay. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Dr. Nelson?
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 1, we're requesting to table at this time. Actually, items number 1 and 2. Actually, not table, we're wanting to cancel those level 3 grievances because they've been, we've worked on a resolution prior to coming to this meeting.
Table 1 and 2.
Okay, then move them.
Table indefinitely.
Okay.
George Oliver for the record to table number 1 and the second agenda item, I'm sorry, number 1 we can terminate, we're done with that one. Agenda item number 2, if we could
Table.
postpone or table,
Okay.
as the case may be, because we're close, we're almost there on that one.
So,
Motion to table number 1 indefinitely and number 2 postpone.
Yes, sir, please.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, been moved for table and second to table it also. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nobody opposed. Item 1 and 2 carry. Item number 3.
Item
Dr.
number
Nelson?
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 3 is discussion and possible action regarding the level 3 hearings of the grievances of Scott Roberts filed on September 24, 2014 and March 25, 2015, including discussion with legal counsel regarding related legal issues and contemplated litigation, possible closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, subsection 1, 551.074, and 551.082, subsection A, subsection 2. Mr. President, we recommend closed session at this time.
Well,
If I may respond to that, we have communicated to Mr. Kazin, and I'll tell you all as well, and for those that are here, we'd like it to be an open session. We have agreed, myself and the grievant, to not mention any pending litigation, any positions or names or titles of anybody, and just so that it's just focused on the grievance.
right, and so, but even with that understanding, Mr. President, I recommend that the board move into executive session to have discussions with legal counsel regarding related legal issues and contemplated litigation pursuant to 551.071, subsection 1, at this time.
So moved.
Okay. It's been moved that we go into closed session.
Second.
And seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We will be moving to closed session. It is now 5:36.
Okay.
It is now 6:07. We're bringing the executive session back to regular meeting.
Mr. President, we recommend that the board appointee proceed with the grievance script as presented.
Okay. No action was taken, by the way, no decisions or votes were taken during the executive meeting. Okay. Yes, sir, go ahead and, yeah, go ahead.
May I proceed?
Yes.
Well, hold on. Mr. President, are we going to follow the outline that the procedures of the board normally follows to read?
Right, yes, our secretary will have an outline that we're going to be following the
Okay,
procedures.
well, we're going to, let's go through that process. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
So, yeah, so please proceed.
Mr. Garza?
Okay. Then this will begin the record of the Level 3 grievance hearing of Scott Roberts for 2 grievances filed September 23rd, 2014, March 27th, 2015, held before the Laredo Independent School District Board of Trustees, June 17, 2015. The time is now 6:08. The board members present are Jesus Martinez, Jose Valdez, Ricardo Garza, Dr. Cecilia Moreno, and Mr. Hector Garcia. Presiding officers that are present also are Superintendent Marcus Nelson and Mr. John Kazin, attorney for the school board. Please identify the person representing the grievant, Scott Roberts, and other persons present on behalf of the grievant.
Good afternoon. My name is George Altgeld, and I'm representing the grievant, Mr. Scott Roberts.
Close to the
Present today is Ms. Amber Holmes, an attorney with my firm. Presenting today will be myself briefly, but for the most part, you will hear directly from Mr. Roberts. And just a brief housekeeping matter. The background to this grievance is rather voluminous, and the information supporting documentation is as well, and we would ask for 5 additional minutes of time so that we can be given a little bit of leeway to make our case, if that's all right with you all.
It'll be fine, sir.
Okay. And may I proceed?
Yes, please.
Okay. So many of you all may be having deja vu. We've been here previously on very much a similar matter as it relates to Mr. Roberts and in his capacity as the district's grant writer and for all practical purposes grant administrator. And if you all will recall, the last time we were here, we had this discussion about the amount of monies that Mr. Roberts applied for and obtained and oversaw. And so at that previous grievance, we were requesting that he be paid commensurate with what other grant administrators throughout other school districts are also paid. And that was the relief that we were requesting at that time, and it was denied. You all did grant us an assistant. He was able to get a secretary to help him oversee these grants that he administers. And so fast forward up till today, Mr. Roberts has been pretty much stagnant in that position. And the real question that you all have to ask yourselves, you have to look in the mirror and you have to ask yourselves whether or not you take the taxpayers of LISD seriously. Because if you do, you would want to lessen their burden. And one way that public entities, school districts, lessen or lighten the load on the tax-paying public is they get innovative and they get creative and they fully staff and equip and fund their grant writing departments. Now, you already have one that oversees entitlements. That's separate. We're talking about an innovative grant writer, grant administrator, grant management department. And suffice it to say that as of to date, you have Mr. Roberts and his secretary. That's the extent of your commitment to find innovative ways to fund all the thousands of moving parts and financial needs of the school district. And so Mr. Roberts, again, is coming to you and saying, help me help you adequately staff and fund this department so that I can go out there and get these monies for you. And so what's happened this year is actually he's been given directives to stand down, to not apply for monies, to say no to millions and millions of dollars because there just don't exist resources to manage those funds even if we did get them. So nobody has a tighter grip of the facts and the details of the grievance other than the grievant, him or herself. And with that said, I will defer to Mr. Roberts to explain to you the context, again, of his grievance.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Dr. Nelson, Mr. Kazin. I just wanted to briefly touch on some of the items here in regards to this grievance that is brought forth. It's been rather lengthy, the time in coming to you. I think it's necessary that me as a taxpayer and a voter and parent of LISD, 5 children, 4 which have graduated, is necessary for me to come before you all in light of the fact that there are questions in regards to who's in charge. And the reason why I mention that is specifically because there's been decisions made by council, by administration, and a lack of decision by you all. And as a result, we're here again, and again, and again. I have brought solutions to these problems. I too, as a taxpayer and parent of the district, seek to do what's in the best interest of everyone. I'm not here to dictate or determine career paths or judgments or seek to put judgments down on people. I'm here for the same reason you all are here, to serve our community, our parents, our students. I want to refer to you a letter from TASB directed to the Human Resources Department explaining my job positions as it currently stood since I've been in that position since 2007. At the time I was given that position, it was a resolve of former grievance we had in light of job positions that I had been seeking for promotion. The job description for that position was designed and created by myself for the Human Resources Department because no job description existed at that time. TASB wrote in their letter that the job description clearly defines the job scope and states the purpose is to research, plan, and assist in the development of proposals for the acquisition of new resources of state, federal, and other funds to address the needs of the student and other district needs. Let me reiterate that. To assist in the development, not plan, prepare, design, research, and implement while others receive the benefits of salaries that were responsible to take ownership of those programs. Additionally, TASB stated, Mr. Roberts continues to personally view his job as director, ignoring the grant writer position accepted at LISD. Ignoring the position I accepted. To this date, I have no such evidence to that fact that I have ever ignored my job responsibilities. On the contrary, I received my 15th year evaluation, that it meets and exceeds expectations. Additionally, they state that I submitted a salary information for grant director positions from 8 school districts, the city, the county, the basis for the request. 4 of the 8 school districts, El Paso, Northside, Eagle Pass, and Judson, were not selected by LISD as market comparison districts for the pay study. Brownsville ISD and San Antonio ISD were excluded from the market comparison for non-teacher jobs due to the significant difference in the enrollment and program size. That was directly from TASB. Last year, in light of the grievance decision that the board took no action on, upholding the decision of the level 2 hearing officer stating that she had no authority to make the decision, we're here today. An email I received after I completed a grant application last year for $6 million for Sanchez Ochoa Elementary was subsequently denied the opportunity for submission. I believe that's in someone's district, right? An email was received not to apply for the Comprehensive School Safety Initiative with the Department of Education for $13 million. Okay, it was said at one grievance hearing that I was at, it looks like the grant applications or the amounts of money are going down. Perhaps we should lower your salary. Well, since I have to answer to everyone, it becomes very difficult for me to do my job. In fact, I now had to produce and prepare a document in order to get pre-authorization to proceed in getting ready the grants. Once it's completed, then I need to get signatures and attestation that everybody reviewed these grants. Recently, a decision was made, and I don't believe it was this board's decision, to return an Educator Excellence Innovation Plan grant that was funded for this school year of $1 million with a possible funding amount of $4 million for the next 3 years. 127 grant applications were submitted statewide, 17 were funded. 5 schools included teacher incentive payouts for this month for your teachers. Farias Elementary, Caguas Elementary, McDonald Elementary, Bruni Elementary, and Gallego Elementary. One of the reasons why this grant was not implemented was due to the fact that it was told at this board meeting during a grievance prior to this that Scott does nothing. But I've been managing those competitive grants for years. Remember the date grant, all those boxes in front? Like minimizing the responsibilities and purpose of what that was for? To pay out incentives to our staff. Something our HR department's been unable to do. Additionally, I received a risk assessment questionnaire last year from the Internal Auditors Department. And the question 20 was, what areas within your department you mostly have concerns about, if any? Please list them in order of importance and specifics. Number 1 was my job description and classification of job title and pay. The second was a lack of a compliance officer to ensure we don't lose funds. The third was an overlap of district department director decisions based on the funding target of the grant and program ownership. The lack of engagement in the initial planning of the grants prior to submission. And the implementation failures due to that lack of ownership by administration. For several years during the budget process, which I didn't realize was my responsibility for my department because I'm not a director, but I've prepared my department budget every year, I received information because I submitted a request for position action form through our system. And I submitted a copy with a request for additional funds, and I was told, do not submit electronically the request for position action form. You will hit submit electronically if only is approved by the board. I'm assuming you never saw it because it was never approved. October 7, 2013, after the grievance where you all took no action, Dr. Nelson requested that I redraft my job description, and I gave him an entire binder in regards to how the department should be structured and how the job description should look based on the amount of responsibilities I had been given over the years in my job capacity. I'm going to help you. I'm going to bring a recommendation to the board. Nothing occurred. My job description was adjusted to reflect everything that I had been doing in regards to a lot of other areas of the business operations in LISD to reflect other departments' necessities. For instance, the district improvement plan, the campus improvement plan, the state compensatory education reports every year, not to mention managing an incentive program for 3,500 of our employees, with me only receiving part-time help at times to ensure they received their incentive awards that not only benefited them and their families, but benefited our community as a whole. As a result, it has created an atmosphere that is, let's say, lackluster in the environment, and in fact has brought down the morale of the individuals and staff in this school district over the years. The board last year in June went through several TASB recommendations and approved the majority of them, made some modifications to some, but TASB never recommended a pay plan appeal process. That was not a TASB recommendation. That was an administrative recommendation. Let me explain to you how the pay plan appeals developed. The pay plan appeal was initiated under the DATE grant to avoid grievances. I basically took a grievance form from LISD and developed it into a form that the staff and teachers could submit to my office for an objective and fair review of what they were requesting to be discussed and looked at for determination of whether they should receive any funding. That's how a pay plan appeal started, not after the fact. It's not part of your budget process.
2 minutes.
Yes, sir. Additionally, I am still on the same pay grade and pay level since 2007. Nothing has changed. And ultimately, looking at what TASB had wrote in here regarding all of these positions from Eagle Pass to United, I have done everything that they have listed for every school district's position. Our sister district director grants is making close to $92,000 a year. Now, I heard this board at one time mention that we honor and respect and value our grant writer, our people. So show me how much value I'm worth to you. Because I'm worth a lot more than what administration believes I'm worth. And I bring a lot more to the table than what they would ever let you know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
Dr. Nelson?
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, we'll hear from administration. Representing the administrative team will be Mr. David Garza, the Executive Director of Human Resources. For the record, how much time is he allotted?
10 minutes, but
Okay.
since I went 15 minutes on Mr. Roberts.
10 minutes will be fine. There's
10
no
minutes
need
is
for
fine.
that.
Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, Dr. Nelson, Mr. Martinez, and board members. First of all, I'd like to, for the record, provide you with some exhibits. I have 5 different exhibits. Exhibit A is a grievance filed on September 23rd, 2014. It has pages 1 through page 304. I have Exhibit B, which is a grievance filed on April 13th, 2015, which has pages 1 through 439. I have Exhibit C, which is a grievance filed on June 26, 2013, which has pages 1 through 16. I have Exhibit D, which is a job reclassification request and response by TASB, which has pages 1 through 70, and I have Exhibit E, which is a grievance filed on November 11, 2010, which has pages 1 through 186. Tonight, you will be hearing two grievances filed by Mr. Scott Roberts. The first grievance was filed by Mr. Scott Roberts on September 23, 2014. The summary of this grievance is that he's asking for three things. His position of grant writer, researcher, be moved from pay grade 5 to pay grade 10 with an increase in salary from his current salary of $68,138 to $92,000. Number two, that the title of his position be changed to Director of Grants Administration. And number three, that he receive support from the school district. This grievance is essentially an ongoing continuation of grievances Mr. Roberts filed back on December 13, 2010 and June 26, 2013, which included the same complaints that his position should be moved from a pay grade 5 to a pay grade 10. The Board of Trustees heard the same issues presented at a Level 3 grievance hearing held on September 24, 2013. As a result of the 2013 grievance, administration assigned to Mr. Roberts an assistant to support and help with his work. Since 2009, TASB's HR Services has reviewed the position of grant writer researcher multiple times and determined that the position is appropriately classified at a pay grade 5. Administration has also reviewed the position and determined that it is not appropriate to pay the position or the individual currently holding the position $92,000 or change the position to the level of director. Dr. Nelson conducted the Level 2 hearing of this grievance on October the 10th, 2014. In his written decision, he made the following determinations regarding the requested remedies. Number one, that the request to reclassify the position of grant administration to pay grade 10 be denied. Number two, that the request to change the title of the position to Director of Grants Administration be denied. Number three, that the request for support from the school district be granted to the extent that an assistant was assigned to him as a result of his 2013 grievance. Administration requests that the Board of Trustees either vote to uphold the Level 2 decision of Dr. Nelson or that it takes no action tonight on this grievance. The second grievance. Mr. Robert more recently submitted a second grievance that is considered to be filed on the date he placed it in the mail, March 27, 2015. As a preliminary issue, we must address the timeline or timeliness issue. In the section of his Level 1 written grievance form, where he identifies the date of events or a series of events causing the grievance, Mr. Robert includes events going back to June of 2013. Board policy DGBA local pertaining to grievances state that all grievances must be filed within 15 business days of the date the employee knew of the decision or action giving rise to the complaint or grievance. As a result, the board should only consider events that occurred on or after February 27, 2015. Essentially, this grievance boils down to the allegation that a Level 3 grievance hearing was not timely held on Mr. Roberts' previously filed grievance of September 23, 2014. He acknowledges that he had agreed through his attorney to postpone the Level 3 grievance hearing until after the administrative TASB pay plan appeal review process had been completed. As the board knows, the completion of that process has been delayed. Mr. Roberts alleges that the delay in completing the TASB pay plan appeal review process is an intentional action or conspiracy by the school district targeted at Mr. Roberts personally to prevent or delay giving him the pay increase he is asking for. In this grievance, Mr. Roberts is requesting 15 remedies, which includes an additional remedy from the addendum he filed. Administration is recommending that the board take the following actions regarding the requested remedies. Remedy 1 should be denied. Remedies 2, 3, 4, and 15 are requests to not discriminate or retaliate against various parties and should be granted, as the district does not retaliate against persons for pursuing or participating in grievances. Remedies 5, 6, 7, and 14 are requests for documents. These requests should be denied as a grievance remedy, and Mr. Roberts should be directed to request the documents through a proper open records request. Remedies 8, 9, 10, and 11 are requests for reliefs directed to a court of law and to other governmental entities and agencies. As such, they should be denied as remedies by the Board of Trustees. Remedy 12 is for the right to amend this grievance, which is moot at this time and should be denied. Remedy number 13 is a request to have the grievance heard in open forum. This remedy should be denied to the extent the applicable law allows the board to hear complaints against other employees in closed session. Thank you.
Thank you.
5 minutes for rebuttal.
Thank you. I'll try to make this really quick. First of all, we agreed not to discuss anything in regards to the March 27th criminal complaint that was levied. Secondly, before I turn it over to my legal counsel, the grievance that was brought up in the exhibit on November 11, 2010 was in regards to a job position I applied for, which was the Executive Director of Plant Facilities, that I applied for in 2009, and I was interviewed by Dr. Nelson. They decided to select Israel Carrera, which left a year later. The job position reopened, I reapplied, and subsequent to his change of my former boss, the Executive Director of Human Resources, to Human Resources, I was told I wasn't qualified for that job. That was what this grievance was over. Okay. Thank you.
Just to, in case you all, I know that's voluminous, but if you had taken the time to go over a lot of the attachments that we included in the grievance, you'll find those emails that Mr. Roberts was reading from. In his case in chief, he's not making this stuff up. These are directives that he's been given to not go out and seek monies because the district refuses to invest in the manpower to be able to actively go out and bring these monies and then manage these monies. I'd like to just reiterate that. Another thing you'll find as an attachment, in his personnel file, you have 15 years of stellar evaluations. We're not talking about an employee who is disgruntled and isn't performing. We're talking about an employee who values the work that he does for the district. And you're talking about an employee who has been recognized for his hard work by his supervisors. And so when you have a producing employee, one that time and time again, despite having applied literally for over 100 different jobs and promotions and having been denied, most individuals, their morale would have been broken a long time ago. Not this individual. He is tenacious and he is steadfast and he's not going away, and his evaluations reflect somebody who works hard. And if you were to go through his different grievances, you can see the level of detail and documentation. It's evidence. It's not make-believe. It's not just me up here talking or Mr. Roberts up here, pontificating on why we as a district, why you all as a school board should, get up and fund his job, his position, his office, staff it, and give him the relief that he's requesting. And so he's, again, requesting what we believe is, when compared to a lot of the other administrative positions, we're asking that he be rewarded for his hard work, that he be rewarded for his evaluations, that he be rewarded for all the money that he brings into the district, and that he be given the tools so that you all can go back and look the taxpayers in the eyes and the students in the eyes and their parents in the eyes and say, we support you. We don't just support you in words, but we support you most importantly by manner of deeds and actions, because it's not what we say that matters, it's what we do. And what we do, the message should be, what we do at LISD is we give our staff the tools they need, we reward them for their hard work, and we give them the pay grades they deserve at the pay rates they deserve so that we can keep them, so that we can stay competitive. And so when you're done looking yourselves in the eyes, go back and look your taxpayers in the eyes and tell them, when we identify good employees, we give them the tools they need to bring home the funds to make this district a success. We're asking that you grant Mr. Roberts the relief that he's requesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allgood.
Now we allow for questions from the board.
No, I'm gathering my thoughts here still. Do any of the board members have any questions to the parties? No. I guess the board will now deliberate on these issues.
Yeah, if there's any discussion, otherwise, yeah, if,
There's any further discussion?
No.
No further discussion? We have the board.
And there's two grievances, and are we not, we're going to take action on the grievance, on the first one, take no grievance, no action on the level, on the first one.
it's,
What's the recommendation?
yeah, the board, there, Mr. Garcia is correct that there are two separate grievances. On the first grievance, there was a level 2 decision that was issued. The board, subject to whatever the wishes of the board are, the board can reverse the action of administration. They can vote to affirmatively uphold the action of administration, or if the board does not take any action on that September 23rd, 2014 grievance, then that would have the effect of upholding that grievance if the board doesn't take any action on it. On the second grievance of March of 2015, the board does need to take action because there was no lower level hearing on it. We're hearing it at this level for the first time. So those are the board's options.
In the first level, make no action I would recommend no action be taken.
Well, if that's the wishes of the board, then it wouldn't be necessary to do anything, to vote or anything. It's just unless there's any motions on the first grievance of September 23rd, 2014, then there will be no action, and the decision of administration at level 2 will be upheld.
Okay.
So it's been moved.
There's no action taken.
Yeah, then,
No.
yeah, the question is there any motions by any board members on the grievance of September 23rd, 2014?
Okay. There's no motions at this time?
On the second one, we have to vote, we have first of the first one, that the request that we honor everything from February to, what was the time frame?
Well, my recommendation, okay, so then going to the second grievance of March of 2015, my recommendation is that the board vote on the timeliness issue.
Right.
That my recommendation is that the board vote that any events that are referenced in the grievance that took place more than 15 business days before the date the grievance was filed, that the board vote that the grievance was untimely as to those events that took place before February 27, 2015, is my recommendation.
I so move.
Second.
Okay, to move a second, as stated by our council. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody opposed? Carried.
Okay, now that does not resolve the grievance in its entirety. I want to be clear. There was the events that were referenced in the March 2015 grievance. that were after that deadline. So there is still the pending grievance. And so the board can, consider taking action on the remedies that were referenced by Mr. Garza in his presentation, the 15 different remedies that were requested.
The request, yeah, with the recommendations.
Dale, one by one, dale los otros.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Garza, but we were gonna.
No. We need to go on the second, on the March grievance.
March
Can we go
27th.
over the request so that we can take action?
We're going to go one by one or go by the recommendation of the staff?
You could do that. It's whatever the wishes of the board are. You can either go through the remedies. We can go through the remedies, and I could read them to you one by one, and the board can vote on them individually. Or if it were the wishes of the board, you could vote to take the action as recommended by administration in their presentation as made by Mr. David Garza here, and we could ask Mr. Garza to summarize what those were, if that was the wishes of the board, as a way to shorten it a little bit. If that was the wishes of the board, to vote as recommended by administration in the presentation by Mr. Garza.
Okay.
Point of order, Mr. President.
Mr. Mayor, we have a motion right now.
Well,
No. I make a motion that we follow the recommendations of administration as presented a little while ago by Mr. Garza.
Right.
That's a motion you want to make.
okay.
That's my motion.
Is it seconded?
Yeah.
Okay, so the one is seconded. Mr. Garza, do you want to summarize?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or the new summary?
This is on the
Just
second
for the
grievance,
record, I mean,
correct?
it'll make it clear. It'll make it clear to do it, to go ahead and read that.
The recommendation for the second grievance, remedy 1 should be denied.
Okay.
Remedies 2, 3, 4, and 15 are requests to not discriminate or retaliate against various parties and should be granted, as the district does not retaliate against persons for pursuing or participating in grievances. Remedies 5, 6, 7, and 14 are requests for documents. These requests should be denied as a grievance remedy, and Mr. Roberts should be directed to request the documents through a proper open records request. Remedies 8, 9, 10, and 11 are requests for relief directed to a court of law and to other governmental entities and agencies. As such, should be denied as remedies by the Board of Trustees. Remedy number 12 is for the right to amend his grievance, which is moot at this time and should be denied. Remedy 13 is a request to have the grievance heard in open forum. This remedy should be denied to the extent the applicable law allows the board to hear complaints against other employees in closed session.
And Mr. Chairman, I would just modify that list to state on that last remedy, number 13, of course, obviously, the grievance was held, it was granted to the extent that it was held in open session today, and only denied to the extent that,
Right,
you know,
okay.
if the other, but, so subject to that modification.
Okay, any further discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nobody opposed. Okay, the motion carries.
Okay.
We're finished with the grievance process? Okay.
Did you have something you wanted to say? Or I don't know if the board wanted to hear a final comment from.
I was just going to make a point of order in the regards to the March 25th grievance. It was submitted in the form of a grievance, but what really was notifying the district of a criminal complaint. So it was not a grievance per se. It was a criminal complaint. So that
Okay.
should not have been really discussed. The September 24th was asking for the remedies that I sought back in 2013. So here we are 2 years later, and the board's still, congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. We recommend adjournment, Mr. President.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Then moved, seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. vámonos a correr.
Corre,
¿Quieres que era?